Most people don't question the world they wake up in, but not you. You saw something, felt something, a glitch, a gap, a whisper. Welcome to Quantum Cracks. Tonight, we open the file on simulation theory.
Hello everyone. Have you ever had that strange, niggling sensation of déjà vu? Or felt like your reality just doesn't quite add up? Like there is a glitch somewhere? This isn't just sci-fi anymore. Philosophers, scientists, and tech billionaires are seriously asking this question. Welcome to the idea of simulation theory. In this video, we'll explore the simulation hypothesis, these strangest scientific clues, and what it might mean if our world isn't actually real. This is an idea that has been really gaining traction in recent years. So I thought it would be interesting to discuss this idea in more detail. So first off, what's the theory behind this? Who wrote it? The idea that we are living in a simulation was first proposed by a Swedish philosopher at the University of Oxford named Nick Bostrom. In 2003, Bostrom's argument is that since technology is advancing so rapidly, it is likely that at some point in the future, humans will be able to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality. And if you are already in a simulation, how do you even have any concept of reality? And he argues that if this is possible, then it is likely that we are already living in a simulation. His theory to break it down proposes the following trilemma. First, humans almost always go extinct before reaching the simulation-capable stage. Second, even if humans make it to that stage, they are unlikely to be interested in simulating their own ancestral past. And third, the probability that we are living in a simulation is close to 1. For most people, the introduction to this theory is the popular movie The Matrix, where this idea was explored in popular culture and brought into the mainstream consciousness. So do you want to go down the rabbit hole and see how deep it really goes? But its traditions and philosophy go back even further, from Plato's cave allegory to Zhuangzhou's butterfly dream. Plato asks us to imagine a cave with people who've been imprisoned since birth. These prisoners are chained so that their legs and necks are fixed, forcing them to gaze at the wall in front of them and not to look around at the cave, each other, or themselves. Behind the prisoners is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners is a raised walkway with a low wall, behind which people walk carrying objects or puppets of men and other living things. The people walk behind the wall so their bodies do not cast shadows for the prisoners to see, but the objects they carry do. The prisoners cannot see any of what is happening behind them. You're only able to see the shadows cast upon the cave wall in front of them. The sounds of the people talking echo off the walls. The prisoners believe these sounds come from the shadows. The idea here is that the shadows are reality for the prisoners because they have never seen anything else. They do not realize that what they see are shadows of objects in front of a fire, much less that these objects are inspired by real things outside the cave which they do not see. This is a powerful theory about the nature of perception and reality. Let us look at the butterfly dream next. Zhou falls asleep and dreams he is a butterfly, flitting and fluttering about, happy and carefree. He's unaware that he is Zhuangzhou. He wakes up and is now Zhuangzhou again, a solid and unmistakable man. However, he is uncertain whether he was Zhuangzhou who dreamt he was a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming it was Zhuangzhou, the core of the butterfly. The dream is this uncertainty, this blurring of the lines between reality and illusion, self and other. This uncertainty is known as the transformation of things, a concept emphasizing the constant flux and interconnectedness of all beings. The butterfly dream serves as a powerful reminder of the limitations of human perception and the difficulty of knowing true reality. It encourages questioning fundamental assumptions and embracing the interconnectedness of all things. But in the Tao? Okay, so who supports this theory? Well, one of the most famous people to support this theory is Elon Musk. In 2016, he said that there is a significant chance that we are living in a simulation. He also said that if we are not in a simulation, then the development of artificial intelligence could create one. Other notable people who have expressed belief in the possibility of this theory holding include the late theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, the co-founder of Microsoft, Paul Allen, and the philosopher David Chalmers. Okay, so why do people believe this? What's the appeal of this theory? Well, there are a number of reasons. One reason is that it offers a possible explanation for certain phenomena that we cannot explain otherwise. For example, Proponents of the simulation theory argue that it provides a possible explanation for the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox is the apparent contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the fact that we have not yet detected any. One way to resolve this paradox is to assume that civilizations have a tendency to destroy themselves before they reach the point where they can travel to other stars. But proponents of the simulation theory argue that there is another possible explanation, namely that we are in a simulation, and that advanced civilizations are rare because it is difficult to create a simulation that is indistinguishable from reality. Another reason that people are attracted to this theory is that it offers a way to escape responsibility for our actions. If we are living in a simulation, then it could be argued that we are not really in control of anything. Our actions are simply the result of code that was written by someone else. This lack of control could be seen as a form of determinism, and determinism is an idea that has been popular in some circles. Determinism is closely tied to the concept of causality, meaning that every event has a cause, and those causes themselves are also caused. Incompatibility with free will. Many philosophers, including hard determinists, see determinism as incompatible with the idea of free will because it implies that our choices are not truly independent but are predetermined by prior events. Indeterminism, the opposite of determinism, suggests that events are not causally determined, but are instead subject to chance or randomness. A stochastic process that makes things truly random. Determinism can be further categorized into different types, such as metaphysical determinism, the belief that all events are predetermined, and theological determinism, the belief that a divine being or preordained events are behind everything. A simple example is a snowball rolling down a hill. Determinists might argue that the snowball's path is predetermined by the initial push, the slope of the hill, and gravity. Although you could argue that the snowball is also affected by bumps and the surface it's rolling down, the wind, and so on. Finally, there is the possibility that there is a God or some other higher power that created the simulation. This possibility is attractive to some people because it offers a way to explain the apparent orderliness of the universe. If the universe is simply a simulation, then it could be seen as the creation of a programmer who had a purpose in mind when he created the simulation. In short, God is a programmer or a research scientist who is running the simulation. The snowball example also highlights a question that is crucial. To run a simulation that is suitably complex without any significant glitches that reveal its nature to the inhabitants of the simulation would require a huge amount of computing power. Imagine having to model every variable, or at least a lot of variables, and then calculating a path based on this. This is a mind-boggling level of compute resource. Of course, the reality may be that to our mind currently, this seems a lot.
It is.
However, in the future, things may be advanced enough to make this possible. Think quantum computing and possibilities this may open up, and resource constraint is no longer an issue. Okay, so what does it mean if we are living in a simulation? If we are living in a simulation, then it means that reality is not what it appears to be. It means that we are not really free, and that our lives are pre-programmed to a degree. Even within a simulation, an advanced enough program would surely allow for some degree of randomness. Think about something like the Sims games, but a lot more complicated. It also implies that there is probably a God, or at least some other higher power that created the simulation, who may as well be a God. Now, personally, I don't believe that we are living in a simulation. I think that this is just a fun theory to think about, but it does not really have any empirical support in much the same way as God. However, I can see why some people believe it. The rapid advances in technology, the apparent orderliness of the universe, and the apparent complexity of human consciousness all suggest that we might be living in a simulation. What do you think? Are we living in a simulation? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Also, like and subscribe for more great content.